Hey guys, Languagehacker here. I got to do some theory crafting for Murder at Castle Nathria. I wanted to show you guys this cold, freezy skeleton mage that I built and tested. Let's dive in and show you guys what the deck's all about. Excuse my lack of creativity for naming it, but I couldn't decide between like 4 different names, so I just called it Cold Mage. It's not quite Freeze Mage, because we're not running Blizzards and Novas and stuff, but it's got some cold, it's chilly. All right, what's new? We have Kel'Thuzad. We'll start here. Battlecry, resurrect your volatile skeletons. Any that can't fit on the battlefield instantly explode. So this deck operates kind of like a control-y deck where you, over time, get value through your volatile skeletons that you're summoning. And you have a couple of late-game win conditions, which is Magister, upgrade your hero power, and then just win with pings, or Kel'Thuzad, where you summon a bunch of skeletons and then make them pop. Well, what are skeletons? I'm glad you asked. These are skeletons. These are neutral cards. They're 2-mana 2/2s. That's read Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. So this can hit enemy minions or their face. It can also go face. Very good to note. And there are a few cards that came out or are coming out in Murder at Castle Nathria that are volatile skeleton oriented. Only in Mage. I don't think other classes have these. So let's go through and see what they do. We have Night Cloak Sanctum. This is a location, and locations are new in Murder at Castle Nathria. It's an effect. It's a passive effect that you can activate once every other turn when it's on the board, and it has durability, kind of like a weapon. I think the weapon is the best sort of comparison to draw. You spend mana to get it in play, and then you can choose when to use it. But instead of using it as a weapon where you swing with the weapon, you just click on the location or drag if you need a target, and that's how you use it. The thing that is different is that, unlike weapons, this has a 1-turn cooldown. So you can use it on 1 turn. It's not usable for a turn, and then you can use it again the turn after that. So every 2 turns, you can use this. Not all of them have 3 durability, but this one, Night Cloak Sanctum, has 3 durability. And it reads, freeze a minion, enemy or friendly, and summon a 2/2 volatile skeleton, which is this. It's also a collectible card. Cool. Seems pretty good. So with this one card, you get to freeze 3 minions, and you get 3 volatile skeletons over the course of time. That's pretty good. And each skeleton might seem like, it's kind of small. It's a little random. As you add more and more, you'll find that they actually do work quite well. There is some randomness to it based on where the death rattle goes, but there are some cards here that summon multiple. You summon multiple just even with individual cards over the course of time. And again, at the end, Kel'Thuzad, when you explode a lot of them, the explosion means that the death rattle just procs, even if it doesn't spawn on the board. If you've had more skeletons die, then you have board space. They'll pop and deal damage either to an opponent's board, kind of like a Flame Strike Clear. Obviously, it's a bit more random than Flame Strike Clear, but it can also go face, which is good as a finisher. So, Night Cloak Sanctum, very good. Cold Case, 4 mana, Frost Spell. Summon 2 2/2 volatile skeletons. Gain 4 armor. Gain 4 armor, good. Summon 2 2/2 volatile skeletons. That's already a 4 mana 4/4 with the Death Rattle that deals 2 damage to 2 random enemy minions. That's pretty good. And you keep doing this over time, and your opponent's board will start to get whittled away. They might be able to stick a couple of minions, but not enough to do that much chip damage over time. Finally, Deathborn. 6 mana Frost Spell. Deal 2 damage to all minions, including your board. Keep in mind. Summon a 2/2 volatile skeleton for each killed. Well, 2 damage isn't that, difficult, right? 2 damage isn't that hard to play around. Your opponents can play bigger health minions, right? But up until this point, you've been playing more skeletons, you've been playing some other medium-sized cards as well, and it's quite easy, I noticed, I was skeptical, but it is quite easy to make some trades and set up your board in a way that activates the Deathborn so that you actually get skeletons killed because there's stuff left over at 2 health. And your opponent can play around a little bit, but I found it was very difficult to completely play around. You will get value out of this if you are facing a board-centric deck, and if you're not, you can just blow up your own skeletons. Let's say you have 3 skeletons on the board. Ship it, 6 mana, you deal 6 damage randomly to your opponents, and you just summon 3 more skeletons, which adds up over time if you start to, close out the game with Kel'Thuzad. Those are all the volatile skeleton cards. So let's talk about some of the other cards that are in this deck. We have Famished Fool. This is a new card in Murder at Castle Nathria. It's a 5 mana 3/5 that reads Battlecry, draw a card. Infuse 4, infuse is the new mechanic. Infuse means that it upgrades, whatever card it is, upgrades the effect that the card has in your hand if you've had X friendly minion die. X friendly minions die. So this, I will read this without the infuse. Battlecry, draw a card. If 4 friendly minions have died while this was in your hand, instead of drawing 1 card, you draw 3. And other cards will have different infuse effects. This seemed pretty good. I was skeptical about this card too because I thought Infuse would be a bit harder to actually get going, but it was pretty easy. Turns out you play minions a lot, and then they also die because, of minion combat. So this is pretty good as a draw tool. Because of that, I'm not running Arcade Intellect in this deck, and I imagine some other decks might not run some of their card draw tools in favor of this, because 5 mana draw 3 is actually pretty good. Now, it's not great as a top deck, I will grant you that, but even as a top deck, you can still draw a card, and it's not the end of the world. It's not great, but it's not that bad. Another new card here is Frozen Touch. 2 mana, Frost Spell, deal 3 damage. This can go face, good to note. Infuse 3, so if 3 friendly minions died while this was in your hand, add a Frozen Touch to your hand. So this gives you a vanilla copy of Frozen Touch, which then you can also infuse, which gives you another Frozen Touch, and you get the idea from there. So these cards, together with the Volatile Skeleton theme here in Mage, works really well. You have value over time with the touch. You can start doing damage face if it's a slower deck. You have some control tools. You have some win conditions, and you have some damage. Deck seems pretty good. My idea for this was to make it quite Frost related, and because of that, I have added Frostweave Dungeoneer, which is also targeted card draw. Draw a spell. If it's a Frost spell, summon 2 1/1 elementals that freeze. Most, but not all, of the spells in this deck are Frost spells. And because of that, this works very well. It also spawns 2 1/1 elementals, which work well when you're trying to get infused cards, like Frozen Touch and Famished Fool infused. I am including Wildfire because I think the Wildfire Reckless Apprentice package, together with Magister, is a very small, subsection of the deck that is pretty easy to include as a separate win condition. Because sometimes you don't find Kel'Thuzad, what if it's your final card? And this way you have an alternate win condition. And it also is a good way to clear the board. So if you are sad that the Dungeoneer draws Wildfire, well, now you have Wildfire, and you can start pinging, so that's good too. Other than that, I added some early cheap minions, Snow Flurry, Arcanologist. I have some 3 mana cards here as well. Rhyme Tongue might not fit in the deck. I found that there aren't quite enough Frost spells to play, and not enough cheap ones, but it is okay as a tempo 3 mana play if you need it. So the main idea is just spend mana early, and then fall back on either Magister or Kel'Thuzad as your win conditions. And that kind of seemed to work in pretty much every game. We have Varden in here to act as a Frost Nova if we need that. It can work well with Bran. We have a few Battle Cries in here as well. We have Frostweave Dungeoneer. We have Reckless Apprentice, Magister. And if you can get Bran to stick for a turn, you can play it with Kel'Thuzad. And the second Battle Cry, after your board's already full, will have all the skeletons explode because your board will be full. You can make like an OTK with a Mailbox Dancer if you really want to. You can go Bran, then Coin, then Kel'Thuzad. But I felt like that was a bit too greedy and I just wanted a consistent deck. So, here's some cool games from the Theory Crafting. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of deck idea. I will be tweaking this once the expansion comes out, but I didn't have too much time, so we are stuck with this list for now. And look at the description below if you're interested in the code. So when that expansion launches, you can queue this up on ladder. Enjoy the cool games. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you guys have a wonderful expansion launch. See ya. I think I keep this. This already gives me a curve, and this is good in my opening hand for card draw. This isn't that easy to activate later, but it's not super difficult. And oh my god, double Wildfire in my opening hand. Have I checked what new achievements look like? No, I haven't yet. Famished Fool. Yeah, this was one of the cards that was shown in the last day of reveals. I think it was part of the card dump. Ooh. There's a lot of stuff. Oh, I kind of want to coin this out. I think I coin that out and start using it. Because, excuse me, since this has a 1-turn cooldown, I want to get this online as fast as possible so that I can activate it and then wait through the cooldown and start using it again. And I can still go like Wildfire, Amplified Snow Flurry, ping that next turn. Oh my god. This is an incredibly strong hand they have. Oi, oi, oi. Oh, that sucks, Sean. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, now we can do this. Plus the Snow Flurry. Kill this off. Very nice. Next turn, the Nightcloak Sanctum is online again. And we need 3 things dead. That's 1, 2, plus the third... the second Volta Skeleton from here will get us there. Okay. And we have some armor to fall back on, so we are taking damage here, but not enough that it's scary. Locations do seem pretty good. They seem quite impactful. Reckless. Oh. Reckless lets me full clear. I think it's fine. Oh, I can't freeze Face and Forge. I think it is Reckless, though. And I think I will still freeze, because I want the skeleton. I'm going to kill that to stop their card draw. So they likely won't kill my entire board here, which means I won't play Famished Fool this turn. But that's okay. I can still spend the mana on Barrier. I've already kind of dealt with their initial oomph. And now I can fall back on just making sure I don't die to damage over the next few turns. Let's see if we get lucky here. We do, very nice. So I can go Barrier. Do this. Now I could ping them in the head, but I think I will save the ping for next turn. I could even play this, actually. I don't want to freeze them this turn. Maybe I do this. If they have Kurtrus exactly, it's better to have this on the board. Because it deals with one of their minions. Okay, let's do this. I don't need to freeze them this turn. This is a bigger minion, but that doesn't actually matter. It banks a hero power, which can be relevant, but I don't think that's fine. It doesn't reveal what they shuffled. Ooh, I didn't pay attention to that, actually. They do have Kurtrus, so my play was slightly better here against Kurtrus. Although, to be fair, Slow Flurry would have still been fine, but I get to save the freeze this way. Okay. So now this is fully infused, which is very nice. Ooh. Interesting. This is actually very interesting. So I can hero power this, which gets me a skeleton, and then AoE, which gets me 2 more skeletons. Or I can just draw, freeze, and do that later. I think I just like getting the skeletons online. It's mana efficient too. Sure. Okay. It's kind of interesting. We're relatively healthy as well. Glaive to draw. And now we freeze them this turn. So they can't get more value off of this. We're healthy-ish at 20. Okay. This Famished Fool is drawing. Oh. Alright, first let's see what we draw. The Barrier. Skeleton. Runtime. I think I will just freeze. Most of their damage is weapon/face oriented, so this stops them from doing that. 6 skeletons spawn. I play this. There's 3 minions. So 3 spawn, 3 die. So this is a fireball right now. And do I want to do that? Or do I want to go for Barrier? Barrier is safer. Kel'Thuzad sets up lethal. But I still probably set up lethal if I go Barrier. So I think I'm just going to Barrier. Reckless. Yeah, I kind of like this. So we can go Rhyme Tongue. Barrier. We can either ping here or skeleton. I think it's a skeleton. Because... So this deals 3 damage. This deals 2, but if it dies, it deals 2 again. And if it doesn't die, it also deals an extra 2 because there will be no board space and Kel'Thuzad will pop an extra 2/2. Kel'Thuzad is cooler? Yes, but Kel'Thuzad will still be cool next turn. Also, this is kind of cute in this matchup too, right? Because it freezes face. Oh, you drew Jace? That's actually probably fine. I don't think I have lethal now, though. So we have 2 minions, 5 board slots, only 2 explode. It's not that good. And I'm at 14. It's kind of yucky. Dawn Grasp. Do I ever die from 14? I could die from 14. This gives me a barrier or an AoE, which I think I like. I think I wait a turn. It's kind of sad, but I think I wait a turn on the KT. I think if I play this, I could die. It sets up lethal, but this also, I think, sets up lethal. Nice. Super safe. So he steals 5. I think I do this. This sets up lethal with Reckless, but I want to set up lethal with Kel'Thuzad, so keeping this on board is fine. Pushes 3, pushes an extra 3 next turn, which is 6, and it gives us an extra skeleton death rattle. Yeah, and the 5 armor from Dawn Grasp, it's, yeah, true. You can brand Kel'Thuzad. You have to run Mailbox Dancer or Kael'thas Sin Strider. Two skeletons currently explode, which is 4 damage. Plus 8 is 12, but I would need them both to go face. Guys, this sucks. Kel'Thuzad's not lethal here, and I could die. Actually, can I die? They've already played Jace. You know what? Forget it. This might still be lethal. Let's do it. I don't care. Oh, the chains? Okay, okay. I can dig that animation. Very nice. No, how do we die here? What, like Fury, Fury? Yeah. Oh. Nah, it's fine. See? You guys were worried over nothing. We played 3 barriers this game. That dealt a lot of damage. But there you go. Frost Mage, nice. Very cool. Ooh, it's Rain. Hey, Rain.
You asked for it.
Do I keep you? I could keep you very early. Sure. We already have these 2 cards. If I didn't have this curve, I wouldn't keep that because it's greedy. But because I have these 2, I think it's okay. Lights go out.
Hello.
I can go with Coin Snow Flurry and then ping it again. I don't mind that. Ping on 2, then Sanctum on 3. And this can trade with the next thing. I'm not sure. There's probably some way to make the Pain Warrior work, but I didn't like how it looked. I'm gonna do pre-trade. The only one that feels like they went in 2 different directions, Shaman gave not enough support. I feel like if they pushed Evolve anymore, we would be very upset. I'm already not happy about it, so I don't know. I'm happy that they didn't give too much Evolve Shaman support, but that's because I've played against so much Evolve Shaman in my career that I don't want it anymore. Let's freeze that one, actually. This deck looks fun. The Mage one or the Warlock? I think they both look fun. I think we've been needing a Zooey deck for a while, and we haven't quite been able to find it. And I think we do have it now, which I think is good. Dungeoneer seems pretty good instead of other stuff. So let's do that. Amazing. Yes, so locations, it wasn't super obvious when they first showed it, but locations can only go off every other turn. So there is a cooldown period. What does location do? I have 3 procs, and every time I use it, I can choose to freeze a minion, which also summons a 2/2 Volatile Skeleton. And this is a 2-mana 2/2 with a Death Rattle that deals 2 damage to a random enemy. This is basically Mind Mage, but it's not quite like Mind Rogue where you explode them all at once and stuff. I mean, there's a card that explodes them, but you'll see. I want that to go away. Do I want to play spells this turn? This is infused. And so is this. So maybe I do want to. But this is just on curve, you know? I think I just do this. I'm actually going to get the Imp off the board. So they have less Imp synergy. Which deck do I think the community will complain the most about? That's hard to say, because it really depends what will develop. This early meta, where, you know, some things are good, some things are bad, everyone's testing stuff, and we have a very limited pool of players, so we don't actually know what's going to be good or not. We have an idea of what cards look good, but it'll be hard to settle on, yes, this deck is what we need to be playing, and that deck's going to be good. And then we'll start complaining about those decks. But initially, I don't think that's going to be a thing yet. Like, we don't know. We frankly don't know. Do I have 2-turn lethal? 7 face plus 7 is 14. I have lethal setup, so let's do lethal setup stuff. So I'm going to go face, spawn a Trog, fill their board, and then Smork. Now they can't even silence their own board because they don't have board space. And they know I have a 2-mana deal 3 in my hand because they just saw the infused copy go back to my hand. So this is a cool card. 2-mana Frozen Touch. Deal 3 damage. And if 3 minions have died while this is in your hand, infuse 3, add a Frozen Touch to your hand, which just gives you another vanilla version of this card, which you can then also infuse. Boop. Could maybe even put Blizzard in this deck, but I'm not sure. Locations look so busted. Every time someone plays it on curve, I feel like that player wins. With some rare exceptions.